December meeting of the Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Commission. At this time, we'll call the meeting to order. As always, we'll start with our prayer and Pledge of Allegiance, and Ricky Turner's agreed to lead us in that.
Let us pray. To our God and our Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for this day as we come to the end of another great year. We want to thank you for all your blessings you have allowed us to see thus far. Thank you for this commission, this city, this state that we live in this country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Rick. Everybody should have received their packet earlier in the week, and contained in that packet was the minutes from our November meeting. This time we'll entertain any changes or corrections that need to be made to the minutes. If there are none, a motion for acceptance.
I move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. It was one of our favorite meetings. We've got our friends from the half marathon here to share with the good news of all the things they're going to be able to support with the proceeds from the marathon. So, Linda, welcome.
Glad to be here. And like you say, this is one of my favorite meetings to attend. The 6th annual Murfreesboro Half Marathon was held October 13th, and I have to say I'm a little prejudiced, but I think it was the best year ever. We sold out in 6 hours and 6 minutes. That was a record. The year before, it took about 11 days, and the year before, it took, I think, about 2 months to sell out. We had 2,500 people who signed up and about 200 in the fun run. 59% were women and 41% were male. 96% were from Tennessee, and we had 23 states that were represented. So people are coming from all over to come to our event. An exciting thing that happened, 2 state records were broken. The overall male and the overall female state records for the half marathon were broken at this event. Amanda Dunn finished in 1 hour, 18 minutes, 15 seconds. She's age 29 from Rutherford County. And also Justice David finished in 1:06:38, and he's age 25. So we were really excited to see that. Our youngest participant this year was 12. Her finishing time was 1 hour, 42 minutes. She had a 7:49 pace. And if you don't know anything about running, that's fast. The oldest participant, again, is Fred, our favorite. He's 83. His finishing time is 2 hours and 54 minutes, which is a 13:20 pace. And for me, that's fast, too. We had 2 city council members who finished, Shane McFarland and Toby Gilly. I'm not going to give you their times, but they should be very proud. At this time, I'd like to call Krista Dugash to help me make some donations. Krista is the president of the Murfreesboro Half Marathon Board. I'd like to say the Murfreesboro Half Marathon was set up not as a fundraiser for a particular charity. Our goal is to put on the best race possible for runners. And every decision that the board makes is with that goal in mind. And with that being said, we do have groups that provide volunteers for us in exchange for donations to their organization. And at this time, I'd like someone from the Discovery Center, Brian? Yeah, I'll tell you what, how about if you get on this side? Thank you so much. Thanks. Rockvale Elementary. Oh, you go first.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Lions Club. I don't think they're here. The Rotary Club.
Thank you.
the Noon Exchange Club. Now, these groups provided volunteers along the course for us. Thank you so much, David. Oh, you can. Okay. And they were at every intersection along the course to direct the runners which way to go. These next groups provided help in other ways. Some have already received their donations. The Girl Scout Troop 1609 threaded together off the safety pins and unwrapped all the individual medals that were bubble wrapped. They received a donation of $250. The Junior League provided volunteers for our 2-day packet pickup. They received a donation of $2,500. Candle Wishes provided volunteers to stuff the goodie bags, and that was an all-day process. They received $1,000. Special Kids, let's see, I have theirs here, is about to receive a donation for $1,000, and they, come on up. They provided volunteers for the fun run. Yeah, here it is. Thanks. Holy Cross Church provided parking and security for us, and Siegel High School Cross Country put up all the signs around town notifying people that there was a race about to happen, all the banners and signs, and they received a donation as well. Now, after all was said and done, after all the dust settled, we still had a little bit of funds left over. And at this time, we'd like to make these donations to organizations that they're instrumental in either helping the event, or they're instrumental in helping the sport of running and encouraging people to start up running as a hobby. Okay, Greenhouse Ministries. Greenhouse Ministries picked up all the jackets that the runners throw at the beginning of the race. Thank you so much. They show up wearing these, and it's cold, so when the race starts, they discard them knowing that it's going to Greenhouse Ministries. And they usually end up with a truck full. Oakland's Historic House Museum. We use part of the grounds as part of the course, and they also provide volunteers who dress up in the antebellum costumes, and the runners love that. It's really fun to see the ladies waving their fans. Main Street Revitalization, they're not here today, but we do run around the square. The runners love seeing the Saturday market that's being set up, and they're great helping us work with the merchants in the downtown area. The Triborough Racing Series. Charlie? This is a group that encourages youngsters to take up the sport of running. And there are 3 events during the year. There's a 5K, a 2.5K, a triathlon for kids. And it's a great way to get kids encouraged to start running. The Murfreesboro Police Department, I don't think they're here. Every year we've made a donation, and they've used it for items such as bicycles that the police officers use on the Greenway, as well as other special events. And also the 100 Club. That is an organization that is set up to benefit, and tell me if I'm getting this right, to benefit families of police officers that in their time of need. Okay, got it right. Thank you. And the police do such a fantastic job directing traffic and keeping our runners safe. We couldn't do the race without them, and we really appreciate everything that they do, getting up bright and early in the morning. Hershey Track and Field. It's another organization that benefits youth, and it encourages them to participate in the sport of running. And this is a check for $2,500 every year that it's been used to buy shoes, running shoes for the kids that participate. And some of the kids that have shown up in the past, I mean, they're wearing flip-flops. So I think this really comes in handy. Thanks. I don't think Coach Hayes is here. Blue Raider Athletic Association. This is for their track program. And MTSU is so wonderful to work with. We have the start and finish area at the Dean A. Hayes Track and Soccer Stadium, and everyone there is just fantastic to work with. Friends of the Greenway. Thank you. This organization provides things along the Greenway such as cleanups and benches, trash cans, just those extra special things, maybe events, musicians that play at events. It's a lot of things that are helpful that the runners do appreciate, helping to keep our Greenway the perfect place to run in the city. The Rutherford County Convention and Visitors Bureau. This group was especially helpful this year. We had our packet pickup there, and thank you. They were very accommodating. 2,500 runners swarmed the building, and needless to say, there was a lot of activity for those 2 days, and that they put up with us quite well. And a lot of the runners got to see the center for the first time and had never seen it before. So we were hoping it was a win-win for everybody. And let's see, I think we have one more. Oh, yeah, Parks and Rec. We couldn't do it without Parks and Rec. Those guys and girls, they set up those cones at 4 o'clock in the morning. They set out the water stations. They manned the big RV command post. Lanny personally makes sure that the course is free of potholes a few weeks before and makes those phone calls if necessary, and they were this year. So we really appreciate everything Parks and Rec does. It's we hope that it's an event that Parks and Rec is proud of, and we want to make sure that we do everything to keep that level of excellence. Thank you. Do you want to say
Can I say
anything?
something?
No?
Sure.
Yep, absolutely.
We were really pleased with the race this year. I remember when Melinda and Miles and Natalie came to my office a little over 6 years ago and decided that they wanted to approach the city about possibly partnering with a half marathon, something that our department had been thinking about for some time. And we sat and talked for about an hour, and I asked them to bring me back a budget, and we would look at it as a part of the parks system's offerings. Well, when they brought me back the budget, it was $97,000. And I told her, I think we may need to go a different route. And so when we did that, we worked through the process of setting up the 501c3. We set up the board. We formulated the partnerships through the city for the race. The race bears the city's logo, so it is a race for the city. But we could not do that. We could not do it without the partnerships. And you can see all the people that's on the list today, all the people it takes to put on an event of this size. So kudos to the Murfreesboro Half Marathon Board of Directors and all the folks that really contributed to this year's success. And I think that says why it sold out in 6 hours. And next year, if we don't raise the number, it could be 2 hours. So if you're a runner, hit that button early. That's all I can tell you next year. Thank you, Melinda.
Thank you. One other group I failed to mention, we did make donations to some school groups that provided cheer squads along the course, and if you're a runner, you know that encouragement is critical. We donated $2,800 to, not to each one, but collectively to the cheer squads. There were 12 total. And the grand total of all the donations altogether is $38,750. And these are all local organizations, and we're proud that we're all able to work together. And I also would like to publicly thank Middle Tennessee Medical Center, who is our presenting sponsor. They provided all of the medical services as well as the monetary presenting sponsorship support. And they're another sponsor that we're very proud to be associated with. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Do y'all plan to increase the number next year? It's a lot of hotel rooms getting filled up there from 23 states. I like hearing that.
Yeah. That's the magic question. And like I said, we look at our goal as putting on the best event possible. And so many people say, I love it because of the size it is. And the people who didn't get in want us to increase it. But I don't know if that would make it better. And that's something that the board, we look at every year. We want to make sure that we get all of our glitches taken care of before we look at expanding it. So it's not out of the question, but we're not sure.
Well, good luck with that decision.
Any other questions for Melinda? Melinda, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Everybody in the community should be proud of the event. Krista, thanks for all your work and all the volunteers.
If everyone that received a check could meet Mr. Schaffner outside, he'd like to have a picture for the city.
Thank you guys for being here. Item 2 under new business is a consideration of the Adult Softball League fee changes, and Thomas Laird's going to come up, tell us all about it.
Good afternoon, members of the commission. As you know, adult softball in Murfreesboro has got a long, deep history. And for a very long time, we've offered adult softball at a very minimal price at $350. Most leagues around Smyrna, for example, is over $500. Nashville's almost $700. So we are extremely low in price. Because of the price, we have to limit the number of games we're able to offer so we can cover our expenses. It costs us approximately $46.80 per game. So each team would be responsible for roughly $23.40 each game they play. With our current structure, both direct costs and indirect costs, we're only able to offer them 12 games plus the end of the season tournament. What we'd like to do is raise that to 14 games, provide an end of the season tournament, but we'd also like to sanction our league. One of the things that prevents us from having the top talent within Middle Tennessee is the fact that our league is no longer sanctioned as it once was, and cost is one of the reasons. The cost to sanction a league would be $20 per team, and then in addition we would have to sanction our umpires. Now we're currently doing training with our umpires. By sanctioning, that training would be done through the sanctioning body, so the costs would be relatively the same in terms of getting our officials trained, umpires trained. However, they would be sanctioned with a nationally recognized organization. In addition to sanctioning, we open ourselves up to be able to host state and even national tournaments. The ISA, International Softball Association, is the organization we want to sanction with. We've met with 3 different organizations, the ASA, Amateur Softball Association, and a new league which is called the WSA, is the World Softball Association. The International Softball Association has guaranteed us that we could have play host to the state tournament, which had 98 teams last year throughout the state, and have confirmed that we would have the opportunity to bid on the World Series or the national tournament within 2 years. So with a partnership with Smyrna Parks and Recreation, we could host the World Series or national tournament. That's one of the biggest things that we looked at. In addition, we looked at what our customers wanted. So in the fall, when we met with our softball teams, we asked them what association they preferred to play with, what fits more into what they're accustomed to, and I think the majority of them agree that ISA is the the sanctioning body that they would all like to be a part of as well. So we've really done our research on this, and I think it'll be a big step forward, taking our softball program to the next level. Of course, there's costs involved, but by raising the fees $100, making it $450 to play, keep in mind that's still cheaper than anywhere else. Even Shelbyville is more expensive than $450 for us. So keeping our prices down so that we are not charging anything in excess of what it costs to run the league. The $450 would cover 14 games of regular season play, the sanctioning of the teams, and also a end of the season tournament, and also the trophies. Or what we do is we give out championship T-shirts to the winning teams, and we try to break that up into several different divisions so that we have a multiple of winners. That way the competition is equivalent in tournament play. So what I'm asking today is for you guys to approve a $100 fee increase for adult softball, both spring and fall.
Any questions for Thomas? Can we have a motion for acceptance of this request?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
I second that.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion
Thank you.
carries. Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you.
Good work. Item 3 is a consideration of changes to Adventure Camps 1 and 2 and the Reptile Camp, and Rachel Singer is going to present that for us. Rachel, welcome.
Good afternoon. How are you guys?
Great.
It's hard to believe it's December and I'm asking for some changes for our summer camps, but I'm proposing that we do a couple different things with our camps. So first would be our Adventure Camp. We offer Adventure 1 and 2 for different age groups. And each year the challenge is to keep this camp on the cutting edge. It's an extremely popular camp. A lot of times both of these camps will fill in the first week that registration is open. So we like to provide a lot of activities that are new and exciting for kids while also keeping the old favorites that the kids like to come back for every year. We're really lucky that with a combination of what we can provide and facilitate from the Parks and Rec staff, and also using a combination of other adventure contractors in the area, that we're able to provide this high-quality camp. And we'd like to continue to do that. However, by using the contractors, they charge a per-person fee, and it kind of elevates our cost to run this camp. So I'm asking for an increase of our fees to offset the cost for this camp. I did provide a breakdown schedule for both Adventure 1 and 2, and it shows the contractors that I'd like to use this summer, the fees that they charge, and you'll see that just the activity fee comes to about $66 per camper, and then there's other costs that we incur, such as staffing, T-shirts, snacks, fuels, and other things like that. I estimated that at about $65. So for Adventure 1, we're looking at about $131, and that's just the cost to provide that camp per camper. Adventure 2, it's going to be similar. We use a lot of the same contractors. We do like to kind of take it up a notch for the older kids, but it's coming in at around $64 per camper. Also this year, I would like to propose that we do an overnight option for the older kids where they can stay with us on Thursday night. We will do a backpacking trip at Barfield Campground, lead them out there. They stay the whole night with us. We camp and cook food, do night hikes and stuff, and then they're there the next morning for the final adventure. So there's a couple extra costs that would be involved in that if they chose to stay. So we're looking at a total for $129 for the campers for the day, and then if they do the overnight option, about $144. I also did some research of some other camps that would offer the similar things that we do in our area. So in the Middle Tennessee area, MTSU has a day camp for their adventure. It's $180. Deer Run is in Thompson Station, and they're $279 for the week. The YMCA Camp Widgewagon is about $250. So for what I'm proposing, we're still going to be cheaper than even the cheapest one, which is MTSU. So what I would like for you to approve is a fee increase from $125 for the week to $150, and that would be for the day, and then the $20 add-on option if they'd like to spend the night.
Great. Thanks, Rachel. Any questions? If there are no questions, we need a motion to approve this request.
I move approval.
Okay. Thanks, Gloria.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good work.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.
Next one is Reptile Camp. Looking to change that up a little bit as well. We've offered this camp for 6 years, and it's very successful, and in my opinion, it's well-needed camp as far as the educational value of it. We get kids come into this camp that are just passionate about reptiles, and it's really fun to spend the week with them. It is a little bit of a challenge. We've always offered this camp from 9 to 4 for 5 days, and just keeping it, it's so limited to just reptile activities. So it becomes a challenge for the staff. And my proposal is to shorten this camp from 9 to 1, and I think that would really help the integrity of the camp and keep the quality as high as it's been. So it would be 9 to 1, and we would also decrease the fee that was associated with it. It was $75, and I would recommend it would go down to $50. And this would keep it consistent with the other departments' half-day camps at the $50 fee. I also understand that it's really important for a lot of parents to have the whole day option for a camp. So I'd also like to propose that for the campers that need to stay for the whole day, that we create an outdoor rec camp where they can stay after reptile camp from 1 to 4. So we're still working in those same hours that we did offer in the past. And if we did that, they could choose to add those options on, so they could come for the whole 5 days and stay in the afternoon, or they could just pick and choose the days that they wanted to come. And that would be an additional $10 a day for that option.
Any questions regarding this request? If there are none, we need a motion for approval.
I move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. Appreciate you being here today. Melinda, you're back up, and we've got a consideration for a request from Relay Rutherford.
Yes, I'd like to recommend that the Commission allows the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation of Murfreesboro an exception to policy to utilize the Murfreesboro Greenway system on Saturday, May 4th, 2013, for Relay Rutherford, which is a 53-mile team relay race across Rutherford County. Last year was the first year that they did this, and there was absolutely no impact on Greenway usage at all. Basically, runners are staggered as they enter the Greenway. Approximately 75 runners will enter the Greenway one at a time every 5 minutes over a 3 to 4 hour period. So to the normal public, they won't even know that there is any kind of race going on. The Greenway portion of their relay, of their event, is considered an unassisted section, which means there will be no water stations or anything like that will be allowed. And they may place a traffic cone if the runner has an option to go one way or the other. They will be allowed to place a cone, but not on the trail. It will have to be to the side. And no part of the Greenway system will be closed at any time during the event. And it won't disrupt the regular usage. So at this time, I'd like to ask the Commission for an exception to the policy.
Thanks, Melinda. Any questions? If there are none, we need a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Eddie. Can I get a second? A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank
Melinda,
you.
thanks so much. Lanny, you've got 2 updates to give us today. You're going to talk about the Oaklands Park, and then I think Angela's going to tell us about the Gateway Island sculpture project.
That's correct. I know we've talked about the renovations at Oaklands. We've been working on that for a long time now. And we did those in conjunction with Murphy Springs and Black Box Wetlands. We have been in contact with the Corps. There were several things that they had to do to get to the point of taking this project to where it is now. There had to be an environmental assessment. There were several other things that delayed the project. Matter of fact, it's delayed it over a year. But the Corps has fulfilled all the obligations from federal law that they have to do, which is a lot. The list is long, but they've made that final checklist, and they have bid the project. They have awarded a bid. There has been a pre-construction meeting at the site, and construction should start sometime after the first of the year. So we wanted to let the commission know where we are on that project. It's about a 6 months construction window. So if they get started after the first of the year, you'll see it probably in the fall complete. That section, which is the old ball field sections. The old ball fields will come out, and it will be naturalized, and trees will be planted around the perimeter. You'll see the split rail extended around the rest of the around the project, and some additional lighting put in. But basically, it'll be a big green space, and it will look like it will be a part of the Oakland's mansion grounds. So we think it's a good improvement to the area. I know that it will give us some options in terms of special events. It will work with Oakland's on what they're doing in terms of fulfilling their mission. But we're ready to close this project out. Matter of fact, this will be the last phase, and when this is completed, that wetlands project will be concluded. So I just wanted to bring the commission back up to speed, kind of where we were. I know we've talked about wetlands projects. Dee's been here a long time. He knows that kind of right after he got on the commission, we were talking about them.
Been a long time.
Yeah, so hopefully this is the last phase.
Thanks. Anybody got any questions for me? Angela?
I wanted to give you a quick update today, if I could, on the sculpture for the Gateway Island. For those of you that have been to the island recently, you know that as the bridges at the approach from either side, in the center there is a pedestal, and the Murfreesboro Art Committee has worked for several years now on the development of public art, a sculpture for that pedestal. And I wanted to just give you a quick update that they are nearing completion with that project and plan to do the installation and unveiling in the spring. So we look forward to seeing that.
That's awesome. Will we get to see it before it's put out?
I'll show you a sneak peek picture if you'd like.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. Becky, give us a quick update of the upcoming events.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I get into our events, I just want to mention to everyone, we discussed it at the last commission, that we have our holiday specials coming up. We have our buy one, get one free in December, which starts December 10th. Thank you. December 10th until December 31st. And that is, you can buy one yearly or monthly pass and get one free. And then in January, we do the 25% off individual and yearly monthly passes as well. And our passes are great. They're good at Sportscom and Patterson, and I believe the Wilderness Station accepts the passes for some of their programs. And we don't have contracts. We don't have fees. They're good for children's programs as well as our aerobics or fitness equipment and the pools. So there's a lot of use that you can get out of purchasing a pass with Parks and Rec. So we just want to make sure that everybody gets that on their Christmas list and whatnot, and gets their buy one, get one free in December. All right. We have Christmas at Cannonsburgh Village. That is coming up this weekend, which is this Friday and Saturday, December 7th and 8th, from 6 to 9 p.m. And that is over at Cannonsburgh, where they will have hot apple cider, a hayride. Murfreesboro City Schools will be performing music. There'll be pictures with Santa. It's for all ages, and that is free. And there's contact information on the screen if anybody has questions about the program. Then we have Music in the Wild. This is a series, but the first one of the series will be at the Wilderness Station, and it's a free music-filled evening, and they will have Carolina Story will be performing, and that is this Saturday, December 8th. The doors open at 5:30 p.m. The music is from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., and that is sure to be a great time, and we'll look forward to the other acts that'll be in January and February as well. Sunshine Player Productions. The next production is A Christmas Carol, and that will be held December 14th through the 16th. Tickets go on sale 2 weeks prior. They can be purchased at Sportscom, Patterson, or the Barfield main office up until the day of the show, where they may then be purchased at the box office. And there is Terry Ann Womack's information on the screen if you have any questions about A Christmas Carol. Our holiday lock-in, that will be at Sportscom. That is a great program where they, for ages 8 through 15, girls and boys, where they literally get locked into Sportscom. They arrive at 7 o'clock, and they are there all night until 7 a.m., and they stay up all night. They play games, they have activities. I believe if anybody really wants to go to sleep, but I think Thomas Laird does his best to keep the kids engaged and moving and active the entire evening, and then they go home and sleep on Saturday. But that is $20 if you would like to register your child for the holiday lock-in at Sportscom, and they are taking registrations now. It is limited, so if you are interested, contact Sportscom to get your child signed up. We have Santa's Splash and Dash. This is held at Patterson Park Community Center at the indoor pool there. The lifeguards are hosting that event, and they will have water-based activities. They'll have pizza, dessert, games. It's for ages 7 to 13 on Friday, December 21st from 6 to 10 p.m. If you register ahead of time, it's $5. If you register the day of, it's $7. And it's a great program. If you want to get in some last-minute shopping, you can drop your child off at Santa's Splash and Dash, or go out to dinner, do whatever. But it's a great program. My children have participated in it in the past, and we'll have a lot of fun. And our next big event is the Polar Bear Plunge. I know we bring this up a lot. It's a great way to bring in the new year at Sportscom on January 5th. That's a Saturday. The Arctic Adventure starts inside the gym at Sportscom, and then they'll have inflatables, games, DJ, and then at 10 a.m. they go outside to the outdoor pool, which is usually pretty cold. They'll add some ice for those who are daring enough to jump into the frigid waters for the Polar Bear Plunge on Saturday, January 5th. And Nikki Hensley is here with us. She has some personal invitations to pass out to you all. We hope to see you all there, maybe plunging.
Remember, this is a personal invitation. I know Mr. Turner, he jumped last year, had his hat on, and he jumped in. And I said, Rick, you left your hat. And he wouldn't go back and get his hat. We had to get his hat out last year. Mr. Roediger's jumped before. So we've had a couple of commission members to do that. I know I have plunged several times. And Mr. Fight, who is, I don't know if he's still here or not, but plunges every year, sometimes in a mask and other things. So it's a lot of fun. Matter of fact, you learn things every year. You learn different things about how to plunge. I remember the first year I did it, there was ice freezing around the edge of the pool, and I thought I was real smart. I wore those long thermals, put my swimsuit over it, standing there really warm, jumped in, and I couldn't get away from the cold because it just wrapped around me with those thermals. So next year I thought, well, I'll just put a T-shirt on. We had more people, and there were people behind me. So when I jumped in, I had to realize that I had to move out for the next people to jump in. So I realized then I needed to be in the back, not the front. So there's a lot of things that you learn that particular day. It's very refreshing, I can tell you. It really kind of gets you started for the first of the year. It revs those engines up. The next year, I remember standing there, and the fan was so cold, blowing out of Sportscom. I was thinking, man, we should turn that fan off. It was you stand there, you're freezing, you know. And I got out, and it felt like it was a heater on me. So it just reversed the whole cycle, I think, of what was happening. But we have a lot of fun. We have 500 or 600 people show up to Plunge every year, which is amazing. That they have to stand 2, 3, maybe 4 deep around the pool, and we fire up all the features. The water slides are going, so you're welcome to go down the water slide, and, off the drop slide, or play in the kiddie pool, or whatever else you want to do. So it's a great event. We do ask people to bring a non-perishable food item. And this year we're giving those to Greenhouse Ministries. So each year we'll collect somewhere 800 to 1,000 pounds of food that goes to needy families. So it is a good cause.
Thanks, Laney.
Okay, that's all our programs, but I just wanted to remind everybody that all our programs are now available in our Winter Rec Connection, which is available at all of our sites to pick up. It's also online at murfreesborotn.gov/parks to download our program guide. We are on Facebook, so you can find out about all our programs through a variety of arenas. Thank you.
Thanks, Becky. Is there any other business to come before the commission?
Just want to draw your attention to the schedule for next year. We did include that in your packet, so please put those on your calendar. We will be here at 12 noon each one of those days. And we should have lunch set up by 11:30 on those days. So.
Thanks. Well, if there is no other business, we stand adjourned, and I wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you.